Picturesque, isn't it? What's in the weeds? Hi, I'm Pete, and the tire on my tedder is flat. Somebody told me, well, it's only flat on the bottom, but I still don't think I can use it. Oh, what do we got here? These tires are flat too. We'll see if we can fix them. This tedder's tires, you can't blow them up unless you take this cover plate off. I guess it's to protect the valve stem. I don't know. Titus and Orden have really been going at it as far as trash talking each other from long distance. That's Orden grumbling in the background. Where did my nut go? This tedder was one of the best investments I ever made because I invested nothing. It was free. It was sitting in a hedgerow and the farmer said, I want it out of here. So I took it along with a hay wagon. I think I have 10 bucks invested into it. And that's one set of teeth on one side. That's about it. But I haven't used it in 3 years or so since I bought the bigger tedder. I think I'll start calling never seeds always seeds. This shaft is coated with it and it won't telescope. Clean all that crud off of there, what's not stuck to the shaft, and coat it with good old plain old grease. This is not a tedder maintenance video. I promise you I'm going to actually do something with it. This is the chicken field. See the chickens? Yeah, more chickens there. Yesterday morning I mowed the whole thing here and it's, I don't know, 2 or 3 acres. Even though the weather forecast isn't that great, I had to mow it because it gets too tough to pull the chicken boxes with the broilers in them through the grass when it gets too tall. So I dropped it onto the ground. Well, when I got into mowing it, I said, geez, this stuff's awful thick. I can't leave it laying here. I'm going to have to make hay out of it. Tedding is very relaxing first thing in the morning. Nice early sun. Tedder fluffing the hay. I like it. See how thick this is? Too much to leave laying on the ground. I cut it yesterday morning, then it thunderstormed yesterday afternoon. Today's supposed to be about 75% cloud cover with a good wind. That makes a good difference. And then tomorrow the same. So I've made hay this quickly before, but usually conditions need to be much better. And then of course tomorrow night it's going to thunderstorm again. This tedder works very good. It's just small, that's all. That job's done. Now we just wait and see if it'll dry. Then we can bale it. Even if it doesn't dry all the way, I can bale it and feed it right to the cattle. But drying conditions do not look optimal. Let's see where it is. Well, that's an odd triangular shaped break. When I was making the first pass cutting hay yesterday, I forgot that there was a hose in the field. And so the hay bind hit it. I've had pretty good luck with these type of hose splices. The nice thing about them is they don't really require any tools to put them together, and they seem to hold up pretty well. Today's one of those days when I have a priority, which is the hay, and then around that priority I fit in lots of other little jobs. But I did want to show you what I wound up doing with the gates up here. Remember, these were saggy when I put them in. It's not that the gate was sagging in the gate itself, it's that it was sagging on the hinges. And now no more sag. All I did was take 1/4-inch steel cable. I got a long turnbuckle in there going up to an eye bolt up there, and easy. Stand on the end of them and they don't even deflect at all. If you happen to do this, one thing that's important is you look at how far your hinges stick out and where they are this way, and then you want to duplicate it up at the cable mount so that the cable stays tight when you swing the gate around. And then over here in the pen, Dad finished making the gate on the rear wall. I'm going to put a piece of plywood on the inside of this screwed to the pipe here, so when the bulls are in here during calving season they can't see out. It just makes them unhappy. I put one of these two-way latches on this so you can just slam it shut, no messing around with the gate. And then during the winter, when it's open most all the time, we'll drive a post straight back here and chain the gate to that so the cattle don't beat on it. The only way to take this wheel off is to take the wheel bearing cap off and undo the wheel bearing. I'm wondering if I can change it right on the tether. Well, I need a better tool. Of course, the check valve on my hydraulics is leaky, so that gives me a time limit. It's like a race. Get in there. Just, you know, cooperate. That's all I ask. Just a little cooperation, you know. Just make my day all right. Let's try a straight spoon. Well, that's a major accomplishment. Just be cooperative. There we go. Wheel bearing's tight, it's just this thing that's loose. This is what happened to the tire when I brought it home from auction. I had to drive it about 30 miles and there was a piece of metal digging in here that I only noticed until it was too late, but it did last 3 years, so I would say that's a good thing. Clean up the rim a little bit. Looks all right. New tire, new tube. I'm going to coat this with tire goo, have it all go on easier, and to keep the tube from catching in here. Makes it nice and slippery. No, you can stay on. Sometimes I think little tires are harder than big tires. There we go. Yeah. I told you, you just gotta cooperate, you know. You aren't very good at listening to me. Well, I ran out of time and had to raise the loader back up, but we're gonna use an old trick that I know of to hold everything in place. Make sure you don't catch a tube. There. Where'd my tire tool go? Here it is. I always blow it up and then let the air out once and then blow it up again so the tube wrinkles clear up. I don't think it's really that big a deal, but I do it anyway. All set. Now I can go back to using this tedder. What did the Tin Man say when the steamroller ran over him? Curses! Foil again! Let's go out here and check the state of the hay. Sounds crunchy under my feet. Done a lot of drying since this morning. Sun's out right now, but it keeps ducking back and forth depending on how the clouds are flowing across the sky. I'm going to do something that I never do, but I'm doing it. So I guess I can't say I never do it anymore. Don't have to run her long on gas when it's this warm out. All right, here we go. Dusty. That's better. It's not great, but it's better. For folks who are new to the channel, this is a Farmall MD. It starts on gasoline and runs on diesel fuel. I restored this tractor. It's an old family tractor about 2 years ago. Did a whole series of videos on the channel. This is the gasoline side. See, it's got a distributor and a coil and carburetor. And the other side is the diesel side. Here's the injection pump and the fuel filters. And then we've got a set of linkages here, and this lever switches it from gasoline to diesel fuel and back again. This is an old family tractor. We've had this for probably 40 years. And to answer a commonly asked question, you cannot just run this tractor on gasoline. It's not meant to do that. It'll just idle on gasoline, doesn't have much power, and it's not very good for the engine to run it too long on gasoline. So you switch it over to diesel after it warms up enough. Remember I said that I would never do this, but I am doing it. Making hay is an art, especially in questionable weather. And the drier you handle the hay, moving it around when it's dry, the more of it you're going to lose. So normally, if you ted at all, you want to ted when the hay is still kind of in the wilt phase, where it's still green and flexible. Otherwise, it shatters. I'm going to ted it now because I'm in a hurry, and tedding it again will speed up the drying, because we got thunderstorms coming tomorrow night. And mainly I just want to get this field cleaned off, as well as harvesting a little bit of hay. There's probably only a few bales here. Here we go. Well, let's see. We'll go easy on it to begin with. Well, we don't want to go in reverse. We want to go in second. Oh. You don't want to give it full throttle when you're tedding. You really want to run tedder at 2/3 of PTO RPM. Slow and easy. Maybe a little more gas. Been too long since I run this MD. It sure is a pleasure to drive. Sounds great. You can see what the difference is. See how this is kind of matted down? Got that? Check. Matted down. And this stuff over here has been through the tedder. See how it's all tented up so the air can get through it? That helps it dry a lot quicker, as well as turning around things that were on the bottom to be suspended in the top. It's getting kind of crunchy. You were supposed to switch to gasoline. Run the carb dry, it's got a rubber float in it. Put the lever back in diesel mode so that the starting valves are in their seats and won't warp from the heat. From what I'm seeing, I don't need to ted it again. Tomorrow after the dew burns off, I'll rake it up and let it dry a little bit in the windrow and then bale it. Well, it's time to do afternoon chores. Little one, you're gonna have to get up. I know that's a comfy bed, but you gotta go back inside so I can fluff the hay. Come on. I know, indecision. You can go through right there. Our bulls, Titus and Orden, have been busy. We saw Titus get both of the females in this pen, the heifer and the cow, and Orden's been busy tailing various cows out in the pasture. We got about 4 more weeks and then everybody can come back together and breeding season will be over. Yep, Titus, you're a good bull. You always get the job done. You want to scratch? Titus lets me know where on the back he wants to be scratched. Oh, it's there, huh? I think Bossy Pig is bred too because she didn't come into heat last week when we were watching her, so we should have 2 bred sows by now. Well, you guys are ready for dinner, aren't you? What, you flipped your dish upside down, anarchist. All right. These pigs are anything but shy now. And they're getting bigger, aren't you guys? As for the cows in the field, well, I haven't seen them all day. I just see the little blobs down there against the far hedgerow. They're way down in the bottom field, eating. What's for dinner? Why, pork chops, of course. You were too skinny. Get over there. We're having pork chops with locally grown sweet corn just down the road and our own deviled eggs. These are done. Look at how juicy they are. Look at all that juice. Dry chops. Nope, not around here. I gotta sample them before I bring them in, just to make sure for my family's sake that they're not poisonous. You can never go wrong with farm-raised pork chops, raised the way we do. They are so good. There is nothing like a hard day's work followed by a homegrown, home-cooked meal, and today I'm thankful that I can actually work hay instead of cutting it and leaving it there and waiting for it to dry like we did when I was a little kid with my grandfather. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Yep, going in. Maybe I'll eat a few more before I go in.